Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode 4, Roaring Emotions. All right, we're picking right up where we left off. We are at Whitney's Roaring 20s party and Jen asks Meredith if they can go over and have a little chat by themselves. Jen is hurt that Meredith is talking to Mary. Meredith thought that they were over it. Meredith says, the last I knew, you two had made up. And I thought we were done with this. That was weeks ago that you and Mary got into the thing. And I had no idea there was still an issue. The other issue, of course, being that Jen is hurt that Meredith canceled their sleepover party that night. But, the problem is that Meredith doesn't want to tell Jen that it's because her children never want to see her vagina again. I mean, that would be a tough conversation. Yeah, so my children don't want to see your vajayjay. It's really that simple. So now the others are starting to get concerned about them, and they're wondering if they should go over and intervene. Heather goes, if I can make eye contact with her, I'll go over there. If not, I'm just going to wait for my lollipop chicken drumsticks. If you would have told me episode 1 that I was going to really start to like Heather, I would not have believed it. But I actually think I might like her the best. Don't get me wrong, the stars of the show are Mary and Jen. No question about it. But Heather might actually be the one that you could imagine yourself being friends with in real life. I mean, it's still very early for me to be making these calls, but so far. So anyway, Lisa ends up going over there to check on them. And Meredith at this point is getting mad at Jen. And she said, you know what, I'm going to leave. This is an unproductive conversation. So I'm going. And then Jen's drunk, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this or not. She had like 10 cocktails before she came to the party. So that's kind of where we are there. And she's like, go ahead and go because that's what you do. And then she turns to Lisa and she's like, seriously, you're going to go with Mary who her grandfather? Yeah. Heather in her confessional said, I mean, I a grandpa, big deal. What? But if it was my grandpa that I was married to, I wouldn't want my friend to yell that at me at a party. This is the most bizarre conversation, you guys. Lisa is trying to talk Jen off the ledge. Lisa also doesn't think it was right for her to say that about Mary. Lisa's like, no more tequila for you. Which I imagine for somebody who owns a tequila company, that was not easy for her to say. Side note, guys, do we have another Tequila Jen on our hands? That would be great. I mean, not that anybody could replace our Tequila Jen from New Jersey. But okay, so the ladies are trying to tell Jen that they're not picking sides. But Jen is gone at this point, and she screams F you to Meredith. Whitney in her confessional tells us that Jen has a history of going ballistic like this, and she leaves the restaurant in a huff. Heather goes after her, but not before making sure that nobody touches the burgers or the lollipop chicken drumsticks. And then she goes out after her. Jen screams at Heather, leave me alone! But Heather seems to know how to handle Jen. In fact, Heather's on the phone to Sharif, who's picking Jen up, and Heather's telling him where the place is, and she's like, I'm out in front. Look for a flapper with cankles. Oh, God. So she gets Jen in the car, and Sharif takes her home. Now it's the next day. And of course, everyone is talking about Jen. Mary tells Whitney, clearly she hates me. I mean, I heard her call me a grandfather MFer. Heather's talking to Lisa, and she tells her, I'm afraid of her. I was afraid if I didn't go to her, she'd come after me. And Meredith is talking to Brooks, and she said she owes me an apology. Now we're with Lisa and Meredith at an art gallery. They're shopping for pieces for Meredith's new home. I guess Meredith has moved in fairly recently. Or is it Lisa's home? Has anyone been able to tell those two apart yet? And their confessionals don't help matters either, because their hair is so different. And, Meredith I used to recognize as the one with lighter hair, but then her confessionals, her hair is shorter and it's really dark again. So I don't know. It's anybody's guess. If I say Lisa and it was Meredith or vice versa, feel free to correct me in the comments. I'm just, doing my best here, people. So they're looking at art, and Lisa wants to touch everything. Oh, can I touch it? Can I touch it? And the gallery owner is like, I mean, maybe like right here on the edge of the frame. She doesn't know what to make of this woman. Lisa, the answer is no. You can't touch a painting. Anyway, Meredith very nervously tells Lisa, I have something to tell you. And Lisa's like, oh my God, am I going to cry? And she's like, I don't know, but Seth and I are separated. Oh no, I'm going to cry. I think I am going to cry. Next, Lisa goes over to Mary's house to visit with her. This is the first time we're seeing Mary's house. It's gorgeous from the outside. The inside is also gorgeous, but it's a bit ornate. In Lisa's confessional, she said, I've seen a lot of homes living in Utah for 20 years now. Mary's is eclectic. And she's so put together and chic. It surprises me that her home is so eclectic. Where are you getting put together and chic when you look at Mary? She may wear nothing but designer, but her aesthetic is definitely eclectic. I actually thought the house was more put together. Robert Jr. comes in, says hello to Lisa. We find out that he bought his girlfriend a Prada bag for Christmas. Nice. Mary, of course, that pissed her off. How long are they going to be together? That Prada purse will last way longer than their relationship. Lisa's asking him about school and what he wants to do, and he said he wants to be a fashion designer. Mary, and what else? And he goes, I don't know what else. And she goes, what are you talking about? You want to be a brain surgeon. Oh. Was that like something he wanted to do when he was 8, Mary? Are you like clinging to that? She's like, your whole life you wanted to be a brain surgeon. And he goes, no. Anyway, Mary has decided that she's going to have a luncheon for all the ladies. And she wants to like get things out in the open, have this be a way to get to know each other better on her terms, the way Mary would like this to go down. She said, just the girls, like dress up formal. Lisa, oh, I love that. She wants like a Met Gala style, and everyone's invited, but not Jen because she doesn't like that Jen is so mean to her. Mary said, she's so angry with me. Now we're at Heather's house. Doorbell rings and it's Jen. She comes in, and then about 30 seconds later, the doorbell rings again, and Heather kind of looks, and Jen goes, oh, I ordered sushi. Heather tells us in her confessional that Jen never comes over like without food or having ordered food or something like that. They're chatting. She asks her if Heather's dating. Heather is dating a cowboy. And Jen's like, and you like that? And Heather's like, he's nice. Jen then tells her that she will never visit her on a farm, if it should come to that. Jen tells her that she has trouble during football season because she never sees Sharif. Plus, her dad died recently, I guess in 2018, and Sharif didn't even come to the funeral because he had a game, and I think we might be coming on the anniversary of her father's death, maybe. It's just a tough time for Jen, and that I think she's trying to explain that it's part of why she's just been having a rough month. And also she's admitting that she's very lonely because of this time of year being when Sharif is so busy. Then Jen accidentally blurts out that Meredith is separated from Seth. Now, when Meredith told Lisa asked if anybody else knew, and she said just Jen. So, now Heather knows too. It's funny because Jen was like, oh, you didn't know? And she's like, no. And she goes, oh, well, you know what? I feel like I can tell that because Meredith betrayed her. So I guess all bets are off in Jen's eyes. Side note, this is quite a look here. I feel like Mary's house. Also, side note, could you imagine waking up and seeing these mountains every morning? I'm so in love with this scenery, guys. Now we see Mary at a restaurant called Vultures, and she is with a party planner, and I don't know if they're both party planners or if the man works at the restaurant. I'm not sure, but they're there setting up the table for the luncheon prior to the ladies coming later that day. Mary says to them, listen, I get that you want to decorate, but you can't take over the whole table. Because Mary has some party gifts for each of the women that she wants to place at each of their chairs. And the restaurant or the party planner has little individual fish bowls in front of each lady. So there isn't a lot of room for these, like, she's got like planners or something. I don't know what they are, but they're monogrammed. They've got each of the ladies' names on there, and there's like a pen. And she also has something from Louis Vuitton in a box for each of the women. So these two people, this man and woman, are taking the planners out of the box and they're setting them up very carefully, like lining them up at each place setting. Mary, do you guys know how to read? And they just kind of look at her and she goes, because some of these names are upside down. So I'm wondering, oh my God, she is so rude. The woman goes, oh, I'm sorry. And she goes, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's just like a little, major flaw, Aren't you a woman of God? Shouldn't you be a little more forgiving? Anyway, she tells us that she did decide to invite Jen. And for the third time now, Mary says, even though she called me a grandfather MFer. Not MFer, just a grandfather effer. Then we check in with Jen, who is calling Coach Shaw for a pep talk while her glam squad is feverishly working on her hair and makeup for this luncheon. Heather is on point tonight, you guys. I am loving her this episode. Now she is driving Whitney to the luncheon, and she's like, I'm not even sure Mary knows what Met Gala is. Because first of all, it's a location, and then also the theme changes every year. Plus it's daytime, so nobody is really sure how to dress for this thing. Oh, also Heather takes this opportunity to tell Whitney that Meredith and Seth are separated. So that didn't take long. All right, back at Vultures, Mary is having a champagne toast with Vulter himself. Meredith and Lisa arrive first. The valet attendants look like Christmas toy soldiers. I don't understand what this has to do with Met Gala, or if there's a Met Gala theme that Mary had in mind, but she didn't share with the others. Unclear. In Whitney's confessional, she goes, there are beef eaters with a red carpet at noon in Salt Lake City. What the fuck is going on here? It makes no sense, but actually it screams Mary. Yeah, Mary is an original. I don't watch all the franchises, but I have never met a housewife quite like Mary Cosby. Mary tells Meredith, or is it Lisa, that she wants her to write down something about herself that the others don't know, just something to talk about during their luncheon. This is Mary's idea, is that everybody will write down something about themselves, and then one by one they'll have this discussion, I don't know, as a way to get to know each other better. I'm not exactly sure what Mary's plan is. Oh, it was Lisa, because then Lisa goes, oh, I love that. That's her line. I love that. Okay, so now Heather and Whitney walk in, and Mary comes up to Heather and goes, oh, look at your little breasty breasts. Oh, it's a little flat. It's a little flat stomach. What the hell? Oh, God. So they're having a champagne toast, and Mary goes, you're all drinking Dom Perignon 2003. In 2003, there was a heat wave, and 56,000 people died. And it made for the best grapes of all time. Oh, my God. In Heather's confessional, she said, Mary's weird, but I am all in with this luncheon. I love the betta fish on the table, the journals, the pens, the Louis Vuitton. I am here for all of it. Jen arrives last, and Mary instructs her to write down something about herself that they will discuss later. So now Mary would like everybody to open their gifts, because something about this will help us communicate better, because we all need to listen more to each other. So they all opened the box. Inside is Louis Vuitton AirPods. Okay. Couple things. One, I love the little leather zippered case that they come in. I'm obsessed with that. And two, you think putting AirPods in your ears is going to help people listen to each other? Like, how does that work, Mary? You know, she's trying. And also, it was a cool gift, just saying. So before the food gets there, Mary is leading them in prayer. And she said, Dear Lord, in the name of Jesus, we come to you to bring us together, and we are asking you for a beautiful lunch. There's a pause. Jen said, Amen, Mary. Thank you for this moment, Lord. Thank you for these girls, Meredith, Jen, Whitney. Thank you, God, for Lisa and Then she wipes her mouth, almost as if she's crying from her lips. That was unusual. She apologizes because she gets emotional. And Jen's reaction shots are everything, you guys. They are everything. She's like looking around the room to see, is anybody else like witnessing this, or am I alone here? Mary's a little out there. Now it's time for lunch, and Walter is describing what they're about to eat. Whatever he served them, it's topped with the last white truffles that you can find anywhere on earth. I don't know. And Mary said, $8,000 a pound. I'm sorry, I didn't know Dana Wilkie was invited to this luncheon. Do you like my sunglasses? $25,000. Did you know? $8,000 a pound. Enjoy. Okay, now they start talking about the things that they were supposed to write down, but Jen's like, do I have to write it down? And Mary goes, no, well, we can just talk about it, but I just want to make sure we talk one at a time and we don't talk over each other. And since this is my luncheon, I'll start. Mary's like, I have trust issues, and I just don't trust anybody that comes along. Like, you have to, like, earn that trust. And Lisa's like, I love that. No, she didn't say that. Whitney kind of piggybacks off of that, and she goes, I'm working on not caring what anybody thinks of me. Just so you all know, I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a swinger. I hope she never stops saying that, you guys. Between that and tincture, those are two things that are so fun for me to say that even though you guys might never want to talk about those things again, I hope it goes on all season. I hope we are talking about Shannon's tincture well into the new year. Oh, and Whitney not being a swinger. I'm not a swinger. Lisa shares something deeply, deeply personal and private. I have extremely high goals for myself. This actually brings her to tears, to the point where her whispery rasp of a voice is almost undetectable to the human ear. At this point, I think she is only talking to dogs. The camera pans to Jen's expression right now, which is one of a person who is looking around the room for validation. Can you guys believe what we're hearing? And also trying desperately not to roll her eyes. So Lisa is crying and emotional because I don't want to change that about myself. What? you set high goals for yourself. And the emotional part of that is that you don't want to even change that about yourself. You want to continue to set high goals for yourself. Am I getting that right? I'm never going to stop being my best self. That's so brave, Lisa. So brave. I love that. So Mary asks Jen, so what's up with you? Now, Jen gives us a whole story with some history. She said, okay, a little history first. My dad grew up in Tonga with no money and came to the U.S. to provide a better opportunity and a better life for us, for the kids. Jen is the oldest of 6, and in her culture, in my culture, she really is Tequila Jen. The eldest child carries a lot of responsibilities to always be perfect. I didn't think that's where she was going with that, but okay. So she tells them that it was very hard growing up in Utah. Everybody thought she was black. And she goes, Mary. And Mary's like, I did grow up black. I could tell you about it. So Jen goes on to say that she never had any dates and she got stood up for homecoming and that she knows what it's like to have to work harder than everybody else just to be even with everybody else. So that's why she's passionate. And when I say you're my friend, you are my friend. I guess basically she's saying she's crazy passionate because she cares so much. She said, if I disagree with you, I will still have your back. And then later I might pull you aside and say, what? That was crazy. And she apologizes to Meredith for saying F you to her. Meredith appreciated that Jen gave the history lesson, that she went into the, what makes her tick and why, and Meredith appreciated that, and she appreciated the apology. But in Mary's confessional, she wants to know where her apology is for calling me a grandfather you-know-what. It's just cruel. And then we see to be continued, which, like I said, you guys, I think they're all just a to be continued now. Anyway, I have a question. Did Jen know that Mary overheard her say that? I don't think she did. So that could be partly why she's not apologizing, because she might not even know Jen heard it, and maybe she's thinking, oh, I shouldn't have said it, but, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just wondering. But yeah, that was it for episode 4. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me. Please leave a comment down below. I love to hear from you guys. If you haven't yet subscribed to Jill Informed, give it some thought. Maybe you would like to see more of this kind of content. If so, also don't forget to click on the bell icon on my channel. That will send notifications to you every time I have a new video out. And of course, if you liked this particular video, please give it a thumbs up. All right, that's it from me. Be safe, wear a mask. We'll see you guys next week for the next recap of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Bye.